Hey there, history buffs. Ever heard the saying, there's nothing new under the sun? Well, today we're diving into one of those timeless truths that's going to blow your mind. Modern hotels? Not so modern after all. You might think hotels and inns are a relatively recent invention, maybe dating back to the Middle Ages, but guess what? They've been around for way longer. Let's hop over to Japan for a second. Japan has two hotels that were built in the 8th century AD. Yep, you heard that right. These places have been in continuous operation for over 1700 years. Now that's what I call a long stay, and it doesn't stop there. The Bible, that ancient book full of wisdom, mentions inns a couple of times. Remember when Mary and Joseph couldn't find a room because all the inns were full? Or the parable of the Good Samaritan, where the injured man was taken to an inn? It's clear inns were bustling long before the Middle Ages. Some skeptics might dismiss these mentions as mere stories, but the existence of inns goes back even further. Think Mesopotamia around 2000 BC. That's right, inns were a thing way back then, long before Greece and Rome became powerhouses. Like today's hotels, these ancient inns were strategically located on busy highways or trade routes. Makes sense, right? If you wanted to stay in business, you'd set up shop where travelers passed by. Who stayed at these inns? Well, just like now, anyone with the money could get a room. Unfortunately, the remains of these ancient establishments often get misidentified by modern researchers and archaeologists, but they're out there, scattered across the globe, serving as clues to the extensive travel networks of ancient times. So there you have it. Solomon was right. There really is nothing new under the sun. Even in the small details of ancient life, like inns, the Bible holds up. Hotels and inns have been around for way longer than most people realize. And isn't it fascinating to see just how connected our ancient ancestors were? Thanks for tuning in, and if you enjoyed this dive into the past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, keep exploring history, and let's not forget ancient Egypt. The Egyptians had their own form of inns, known as caravanserais, which were essentially roadside inns where travelers could rest and recover from the day's journey. These establishments were crucial for the trade routes that crisscrossed the desert, providing not just lodging, but also food and water for both people and their animals. Similarly, in ancient India, inns known as dharamshalas were built to offer shelter to pilgrims and travelers. These were often funded by wealthy patrons as acts of charity. These dharamshalas were often located near temples and other religious sites, making them convenient for those on spiritual journeys. In ancient China, inns were an integral part of the Silk Road, providing rest stops for traders and merchants traveling long distances. These inns were strategically placed to ensure that travelers had a place to rest, eat, and even trade goods. So, as you can see, the concept of providing lodging for travelers is as old as civilization itself. From Japan to Mesopotamia, Egypt to India and China, inns have been a cornerstone of human society for millennia. It's amazing to think about how these ancient inns laid the groundwork for the modern hospitality industry we know today. So, next time you check into a hotel, remember, you're participating in a tradition that spans thousands of years. And isn't that a comforting thought? Thanks for joining us on this historical journey. Until next time, keep exploring history.